What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward and how things are looking, my personal opinion. But let me first mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very soon, just a couple of weeks. Anyways, for SPY, this thing has launched to new all-time highs, exactly as we predicted. I said SPY is going to likely do that, and we predicted this to a T. Now, SPY is currently testing the 534 area. We'll have to watch and see if we can break through this. Overall, we're holding up very, very well. And I still think that, with this resistance, we could see a little bit of shuffling up here because 534 is kind of tough. If we break through this, we're easily going up to 535 next. If we lose this, I'll be looking at 532.5. Overall, SPY is going to be testing 534 and continuing to kind of shuffle here. We're looking pretty good nonetheless, though. Regardless of what happens, we're still bullish, and I could see us continue to break the all-time highs again and again. But overall, once again, guys, the bulls are winning. They're in full control, and the same thing is happening to the QQQ and many other tickers. Now, for tomorrow, as a reminder, let me just say that we have initial jobless claims in the morning, not to mention exports and imports data, and all this data is coming out before the market opens. So we will see how this causes the markets to move. So if you do want to hold through this, I'm sure it's not going to cause anything too crazy relative to like a CPI report or anything like that. You could hold through this if you want. If you don't want to, hey, it's up to you guys. It's all your choice. But just know that right now the market remains bullish, regardless of how things look, in my personal opinion, in terms of data. But the market is still very strong. So SPY, in my opinion, has more upside potential later on. We will see if it pulls back from here or not. 534 is kind of like a tough resistance. If it does a little bit, it could continue higher later on. That does not necessarily mean it's done. It could continue to pump. For NVIDIA, we're pushing to 1120. We have 1120 to 1125 as my target. We're still all the way up here. If we break 1125, we're going all the way up to even higher levels. There's no sign of NVIDIA stopping yet. So it's still looking very strong. So we'll just have to watch and see how it reacts to resistance. But it's looking very bullish. For Tesla, on the other hand, when you zoom out of Tesla, let me just kind of close this right here. You could see that Tesla has a very, very interesting structure. We have a nice head and shoulders that's kind of developing right here. We have a left shoulder here, a head and a right shoulder. On the smaller time frames, we will see if this leads to a little sell off to this gap fill or not. I'll be open minded nonetheless, no matter what ends up happening. But at the same time, let me actually pull up the 4 hour just to kind of show this to you. At the same time, even if Tesla does get some kind of small dip, regardless of if it happens or not, we also have a much larger inverse head and shoulders developing right here. So in my opinion, if we bounce and start breaking out above 180, we could start pushing to much higher levels and start breaking into the 200s thanks to this inverse head and shoulders. Could we dip first and then get the breakout? Yes, or we could even break out from here. Overall, I'll be watching to see what Tesla ends up doing. But for now, what I can tell you is that Tesla's just completely range bound. It dipped a little bit. It was actually showing signs of a breakdown, but it ended up failing because the buyers came back to defend it as the market was pushing. So we're still stuck within the balance of this range. We still have this support all the way down here around this 173 to 174 area, and we have resistance around this 178 zone, not to mention 180. We're stuck within this range, so we'll just have to see how things progress. But overall, we're still holding up very, very well, and I still think that there is potential in Tesla to try to bounce. But in my personal opinion, I think that we're still range bound, so we have to give it time, and we'll see which way it breaks for now. But that's something else that's worth noting. For the QQQ, we're looking more bullish, breaking all-time highs. We pushed all the way up to about 462.5. I was eyeing this target between here and about 463. So we'll be watching to see how the QQQ does up here. I think we're at resistance right now, just like SPY. So 462.5 is the level. And if we do break this, we could be going all the way up to almost 464. For support, make sure you watch 461. If that breaks, we have 460. But overall, we are looking more bullish in my personal opinion. So the QQQ has more upside potential. It's holding up very, very well. Could it dip a little bit? Yes, it could before it tries to continue higher. Yes, it's still holding up very well. Apple is also holding up very well. Let me show you the smaller time frames, like the hourly time frame. On the hourly, you guys can see we have 197 as resistance. We have support currently at 195, and we're kind of stuck within this range. There's a very, very strong uptrend. So I think that Apple could kind of dip and then start bouncing and pushing even higher. So there is more upside potential. I think that Apple could continue to push. I think that overall it's doing relatively well. And I think that overall there's a very, very good chance of this potentially continuing as time goes on. So Apple is still holding up. We'll be looking for it to break its highs and eventually get closer to 200 soon. Still holding up very well. For a few more, the IWM Russell 2000 got a nice bounce off this 202 area. We're pushing up here, and I do see potential for us to go all the way up to about 205. So overall, a nice double bottom. We're actually holding it very well, and there is upside potential in my personal opinion. On top of this, we'll see how well it holds here. We have 205 as resistance. We'll see how it reacts, but I still want to say that there is still more upside potential. For Coinbase, we're pushing to the target of 250. We did call this out, and so far so good from Coin. Not looking too bad in my personal opinion. For Amazon, we're also pushing up very, very nicely. We're holding our 200 EMA at this 180.75 area. If we hold this, we could continue to push all the way up towards 182.5. For Meta, we're looking more bullish, breaking out towards 492.5. We could continue to go. We called out the 490s in my video from yesterday. It's still looking more bullish in my personal opinion. GameStop never lost 25. It held support. That's why it's trying to bounce. We called this out yesterday. If it held support, it would bounce. If it lost it, would turn bearish. We ended up holding support. Now we're trying to rebound. We're going to be looking for a push for 32 very soon. Looking pretty good in my opinion. AMC is also looking pretty good. We held support. We didn't lose 4.64. We're actually rebounding. And now my next target is going to be all the way up here around 5.3. Break this, and we could be trying to test this high all over again. So pretty good from AMC and all the others out there. The VIX, if you look at the VIX carefully, it's also looking bearish. Excuse me. And we also have this big gap to fill down here. So I suspect the VIX is going to drop lower because the market has more upside potential. And I think there's a very good chance that that's what's going to end up developing as time goes on. So with the VIX potentially dropping lower and coming all the way down to fill this gap, it's going to be because the market has more upside potential, and we're going to likely continue to pump. So looking at the way things are holding up, SPY is still shuffling around 534. That's tough resistance. We'll see how it does here. It's still very strong, guys. There's no sign of this kind of like stopping yet. So overall, quite good. Very, very nice looking momentum, and we'll see how things kind of progress at least as time goes on. Once again, for data for tomorrow, we just have like initial jobless claims and a few others out there, nothing too crazy. And for Friday, that's when we have the very important unemployment numbers. So we'll see how all of this affects the markets. Friday is going to be a very important day. The unemployment data is going to be key. Very, very pivotal for the way we continue. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. SPY is holding up very well, and we'll see what ends up progressing for the future. So with that being said, guys, I want to say I really appreciate every single one of you guys for all your support over the last couple of days amidst hardships that I had to go through alongside many others. Stay strong, guys, no matter what happens in life. Stay positive and continue forward. Surround yourself with great people, and no matter what happens, just know that there's always another tomorrow. There's always going to be a tomorrow no matter what. And do not let the past define you. Always try to just improve no matter what happens. All right. So thank you. Have a very, very awesome rest of your trading session. The market's going to close in about less than an hour. And I'll be back in a few hours to give you guys one final update. Until then, thank you and peace out.